Welcome to another episode of In the Car Podcast with your boy OP. And yes, the morning I'm going to work, and I've got another issue to discuss. I think, Gucci, if it's your first time here, you know Gucci, you haven't subscribed. So do the right thing. Please subscribe. Please hit the notification button. Share, like, and comment in the comment. You know how we do it. So let's jump into it. You know what I mean? Today's topic is it's what to do on the first date. Right? What to do on the first date and what not to do on the first date. So I'm not an expert here, right? I'm not an expert. Just watched a lot of TikTok videos. I've just watched a lot of YouTube videos. I've just watched a lot of romance, and I've also read a lot of stuff as well. The etiquette of being on a date, right? So, number one, before you go on a date, depending what kind of a person are you? If you're like someone like me who's like hood vibes, you might have to do your research on some certain things, So let's just dive into it. One, before you ask the honey or your partner or whoever to a date, if you're a woman initiating the date, it's cool. If you're a guy initiating the date, which is usually the case, it's cool as well, It shows ownership. But here's a trick. When you initiate that date, make sure that you have figured out the 5 W's. How are we going to get there? Which is the H, 5 W's and the H. How are we going to get there? How are we going to come back? How much does that cost? If you're going to drive, just do the petrol calculations. If you're going to Uber there, do that. If you're going to take a taxi, do the maths as well. You know what I mean? Make sure that you research where to find the taxi to get the taxis and blah blah blah. How to get there. Another thing is, what are we going to eat? Right? You think to your mind how and then once you figure out the what are you going to eat is like how much will that cost? And then you get to the other W, which is what again, but like what am I going to wear? So generally, ladies will ask themselves these questions like, what am I going to wear on this date? Is it a date on the park? Is it a date to a gaming place like Ninja? Or like, is it like an indoors? Is it like fancy? Is it like, so also to not come with an element of surprise, just tell the honey, where are you going? You know what I mean? So I'll get to how you get to initiate the date, but please give some details so she can also dress appropriately. You know what I mean? So she can dress according to maybe the demand of the venue. You know what I mean? So that she doesn't feel out of place. It's like when you go to church, you know that church demands you to dress in a certain way. So even when you go to a date, make sure that you've got those details in so that you can dress according to the demand of the venue, and she can also dress into the demand of the venue. So you went to a date with someone who dressed up appropriate or was feeling uncomfortable all the time. So it just becomes an all weird date. Yeah, sure. So the where are you going? You need to figure that out as a man. Don't ever ask a lady, can we go to a date? She says yes. Okay, lucky for you. And then you're like, where do you wanna go? No, that's a no. You need to take leadership. You need to take ownership. You need to lead. So you need to book the venue. If you don't book, it's fine. Just walk in. But at least know where you are taking her. Right? Let's say, for example, the Spare. You're taking her to Spare, for example, for the purpose of this conversation. you're taking her to spare. When you get there to pick her up, at least get 5 minutes earlier. Or maybe at least be like hairline late. You know what I mean? Hairline late is like, we're about like 5 minutes late. And then you were just around the corner. You're like 5 minutes late, just to build that suspense. You know what I mean? So, at least be 5 minutes early, or just be 5 minutes late. Just to, you know, if you like someone who likes drama, just be like me, hairline late. You know, you're like almost late. You know what I mean? You can even argue that to say, but I was just around the corner. You know, when the clock struck, I was just around the corner, so I'm just 5 minutes late. I'm not technical, I'm not late. You know what I mean? It's something that you can argue, right? So, when you get there to pick up your partner, if you're a guy, please be a gentleman. That's the thing, man. Women love a guy who's a gentleman, but don't overdo it. And we're gonna get into that. Possibly we have enough time. So, be a gentleman. Open the door, let her in. If it's an Uber, you know, make sure that you open the right door, you know, where she will get in, sit, and be comfortable. You know, you can't be into an Uber and then opening the front door, because obviously there's a driver, so she can't be sitting with the driver. You can't be sitting in front with the driver, but that's the truth. You're going on a date, which is supposed to be something more or less intimate. You know what I mean? So you open the door, she gets in, close the door, you ask her to put on a seat belt, you drive. And then when you drive, don't be listening to Kwala Kwala FM, no. Don't be listening to a radio. Put in that playlist. Go to YouTube, go to Spotify, put in that playlist, or prepare it at home before you leave into that USB drive. You know what I mean? Hit it. And don't just hit soul music. You have like icebreakers in between. You know what I mean? If she's a gospel person, if she's a soul person, if you know, but also think about the mood of the day that you're trying to set. You know what I mean? So have those fillers in there as status. Be like a DJ. A DJ doesn't just throw all the hits from the start. You know, it's gonna throw like warm-up songs in, and then the hit songs will come as the mix is going on. You know what I mean? And then that's where you're already warmed up, you're already in the mood, you're already, you know what I mean? Yes. So it's best like that. So another thing, once that is done, playlist is done, drive safely, drive carefully. Don't be barking at other people on the road who are doing mistakes. You know what I mean? So you get there, you let her out, you open the door for her, you walk in, you get into the restaurant. Don't walk in first. Don't walk in first. The biggest mistake is for you to walk in first. So you open, you know, the door for her, let her in, let her a little bit in front, not too far away from her, but you know, you just at her like one step away from her. You know what I mean? Let whoever in the restaurant is guiding you to guide you into a table for two, or wherever is gonna point you to seat. If you don't, you must be quick as well. You must gauge. You know, if it's somewhere close to a bathroom, no, it's a total no. You know what I mean? So be quick to gauge where you're being pointed to sit, and then if you feel like that's not a good spot, pick a good spot, and make sure that whenever she's sitting comfortable. Oh shit! But also from your side, be in a position that is masculine. Be in a position that will be able to command your presence in the room. You know what I mean? Also, be careful if you're wearing like hats or caps. You know what I mean? Because of going on a date, make sure that your hair is proper, so that whenever you go to these restaurants, when you get there, you'll be able to take off your cap or your hat, and don't be rude to the waiters. That's the biggest thing as well. Don't be rude to waiters. And when you tip, here's the strategy. Here's the strategy. This is the biggest strategy ever, biggest flex ever. When you sign off your payment and you're about to tip, this is how you tip. Let's say the bill is 350 for argument's sake. It's 350, and then you're about to tip. On the tab, you put in maybe like 400, right? Don't look like a big tipper, but be a smart tipper. So if the bill is 350, you put in maybe like 370 on the tab, right? And then you pay with your card, done, right? And then you pull out your purse. Maybe you pull up like 30 bucks and be like, oh, she's an adequate tip. You put in the cash on his hand. It's a nice gesture. You know what I mean? Yeah. So after that, also have appropriate touches with your partner, with your date, because most of the time, first time dates, it's not like you're already dating. You're trying to gauge each other to see if she's worth it or if he's worth it. You know what I mean? And then also, when I said do your research earlier on, it was a matter of know how to eat. Don't be like, no, know how to eat. And then when you order food that you know you'll be able to eat. Don't be ordering bag and then the next thing you have sauces all over you. No, 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 no. That's a no-no. You know what I mean? Be smart about it. You're trying to make an impression, not over impressed, but a good impression. You know what I mean? To say that uh, 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 I am who I am. This is the sport I like. This is the sport I can afford, and I would love to do this more often. And one day I can maybe go to a more expensive one. But this is not my limitation, but this is where I am right now. With between me and you, this is where I am right now. You know what I mean? And if you are a lady and you're taken out to a first time date, don't order the whole menu. Probably the guy has no money. His last budget is trying to make sure that he gets the life experience of going out. You know what I mean? And going out not with anyone but you. Probably have been talking for months, but hey, this is my chance. You know what I mean? So be lenient, be gentle as well. Don't be harsh, and make sure that before you leave home, you eat. You eat before I arrive to pick you up, so that when we get to the restaurant, you don't have the urge to order the whole menu, and make sure that you drink at least half a cup of warm water. You see, because that will warm up your stomach. To warm up your stomach. By the time you get to the venue and start to eat, your body feels like it has already eaten. You know what I mean? Yeah. Those are my tips for what to do and what not to do on a first time date. Anything I've missed, please let me know in the comments. Anything that I've mistakenly said. Like I said, I'm not an expert. Well, let's see you in the next episodes of podcast in my car. Well,